What would it take to live in a perfect world? What would such a place look like? For as long as there has been a world to think about, there have been those considering how to perfect it, whether that be philosophers, politicians, theologians, or even you. But just as there have been figures dreaming of a better world, there are also those who have denied such a possibility. For instance, Dostoyevsky denied the possibility of utopia, believing that humanity can never be satisfied by pure pleasure and comfort. Shower man with all earthly blessings. Drown him in happiness completely. Give him such economic satisfaction that he no longer has anything left to do at all except sleep, eat gingerbread, and worry about the non-cessation of world history. And it is here, just here, that this man, out of sheer ingratitude, will do something nasty. If you're interested in learning more about Dostoyevsky's views on utopian thinking, then check out my friend Turtleneck Philosophy. The link to his channel is in the description. Dostoyevsky believed that the promise of utopia could not be actualized because of the existence of destruction. However, German philosopher George Hegel suggested that our propensity for chaos did not necessarily imply that utopia was impossible. Hegel argued that failures in actualizing utopia were the result of misconceptions about the fundamental nature of reality. The predominant view of utopia is that it exists in a static state, as an unchanging, perfect destination. However, Hegel argued that nothing in the world has ever existed statically, not even our idea of perfection. All elements of nature are constantly in flux, and he argued that utopia is no different. According to Hegel, utopia exists in interaction with all elements of the world, which are equally undergoing continuous change. For instance, imagine a place where you can access healthcare, education, or a peaceful living environment. Many centuries ago, these were nothing more than utopian ideals. Now they are realities throughout the world. Yet even still, the utopias of yesterday may be considered dystopian today. Perhaps the promise of utopia has less to do with any specific society, but rather it's a tool that guides us through the world and into the next moment in time. As Oscar Wilde wrote, "A map of the world that does not include utopia is not even worth glancing at, for it leaves out the one country at which humanity is always landing. And when humanity lands there, it looks out and seeing a better country sets sail. Progress is the realization of utopias." Dostoyevsky was critical of utopian thinking because of his view that man's desire to suffer prohibits perfection. However, even our nature as human beings is not concrete. As our concept of perfection evolves, it moves beyond our current ideas of what is possible. Our world hosts a number of dualities, such as chaos and order, simultaneously, and each of these antipodes redefine the existence of one another. Change is an eternal function of existence. Destruction does not exist in a vacuum. It's an agent for change, and therefore the idea that destruction is imperfect or incompatible with utopia denies its function in creating perfection. Every organized being is every moment the same and not the same. Every moment it assimilates matter supplied from without and gets rid of other matter. In a longer or shorter time, the matter of its body is completely renewed and is replaced by other molecules of matter, so that every organized being is always itself and yet something other than itself. In order to achieve utopia, perhaps we don't need to do the impossible. Perhaps all we need to do is question who we are. Are we made of life, or are we made of death? Are we imperfect, or are we eternally moving toward perfection? Does utopia belong to the world, or does it belong within us? Perhaps utopia has never been an outward destination, but rather it is an internal realization. That concludes my thoughts on the topic. As always, thank you for watching, and thank you to my top patrons.